And talking about the amount of money involved, Elon Musk just dropped a massive bomb on the tech industry. That sounds like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi novel. He officially merging SpaceX and his AI company into xAI into a single $1 trillion monster that plans to put supercomputers into orbit. If you thought Starlink was ambitious, you haven't seen anything yet. SpaceX is acquiring xAI in a share exchange deal that values the combined company at a staggering 1.25 trillion. This isn't just about corporate shuffling. The goal is vertical integration on a galactic scale. Musk plans to build space-based data centers, literally launching AI servers into orbit to run on unlimited solar power, solving the massive energy crisis currently facing the AI industry. What do you think about this?
Yeah. So I just read something about those data centers in space, by the way, and there's so many challenges like radiation, and there's a whole bunch of issues that are coming in that like they're just starting to talk about now. So who knows if those are actually going to take off. But so again, this is a weird deal to me because he owns both of these companies, right? And so is this one of those circular things where there's money going from one to another, to another, to another, just to kind of maintain it? And the second question I have is, do people still use Grock? I haven't heard of it much lately. I've obviously Claude just released their 4.6 and ChatGPT is working on some things, but I haven't heard anything from Grock. So apparently this transaction was structured as an all stock deal. Apparently with careful legal and tax planning to avoid triggering debt repayment clauses and to defer tax obligations. So that's why it's kind of skeptical to me. So the structure, it preserves existing operations while consolidating governance and financial exposure under one umbrella. So apparently this also streamlines the path to a potential IPO for SpaceX later in 2026, which has the potential to become one of the largest public listings ever, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what happens. There was some news this morning, too, that Musk is now focusing on the moon instead of Mars. So there's a bunch of stuff going on with him that, obviously this guy is doing a lot, and he seems to know what he's doing. But what do you think about this? Do you think this is a smart move? Do you think this is, legit, or is this kind of smoke and mirrors?
Well, to talk about Grock 4.1 was released late January, so along with all the recent things, so they've been and then there's a bunch of different versions. It's generally well received, but I think it's been overshadowed by the other news. Whenever I see this, my brain goes to, oh, it's big boys playing big boy games when you're talking about shuffling this kind of money around. I think it makes sense at some level, but I thought xAI was going to merge with Tesla, honestly, because to drive the AI powering the robots. So that's kind of where I thought there was a merger coming. I just thought it was going to be with Tesla. Now,
okay, interesting.
The concept, I guess, is that for xAI or Grock to continue, they need these massive data centers. And we've been talking about this for the last year. You know, Microsoft, everybody's going nuclear to power their data centers. They're spending billions of dollars. People are $500 billion on data centers, and NVIDIA's all in. Now NVIDIA's all out. Now OpenAI's in, and they're going to get everything's changing. But if his plan is to, I have to compete and I have to do this, but I think I'm going to do it in space. Okay, that's interesting. And if you are going to do that, if your biggest power centers are going to be in space, so you don't have to build nuclear power plants. Like, we're talking about saving billions of dollars in energy to house this. So it's not crazy. It's just interesting. So I think with this, it makes sense that Elon Musk has shifted his focus because the goal, I guess, is to power SpaceX, power Tesla, power xAI, and keep these companies on the leading edge of everything. And data centers on the moon and in space make a lot more sense than trying to do something on Mars.
That does make sense. And also start small and then get to Mars. So prove everything in space on the moon and then expand to Mars. I think that's what he's realizing. So his big rocket obviously is ready, but I think there's a lot more that he's not ready for Mars, and I think he sees that. But the thing about this merger is there's the combined entity. It can compete on multiple fronts. So it can compete on space hardware, can compete on satellite communications, terrestrial, possibly orbital, compute infrastructure, and AI services, which is a very different footprint from traditional tech companies. So he's kind of at the forefront with this merger. That makes sense. But to me, and again, I don't understand the structure between the two companies, but why did they need to merge in order to do this, to share this information between each other, right? To me, it seems like it's a merger to save xAI more than anything.
To me, it's something completely different. If I want to go past the surface and I want to put on my big brain hat, I say, okay, people don't understand how much money SpaceX makes from Starlink versus Starshield. Most people don't even know what Starshield is. Starshield is the military product that they use, that they sell to the military, that does all like internet anywhere, but also on satellites. You can use their satellite system to target and locate targets and target military strikes from 1,000 miles away and all this stuff. And saying, okay, well, with the world stepping up to, BRICS versus NATO versus this versus that, what's the next version of the military spend? And if the military is all in on AI powering their planes and powering all these things, Elon's saying, I'm going to be the person with the AI in those things because, I'll be the satellite, will be real time, it'll be faster, less delays. So I think we're going after some military contracts where the real money is. And that's kind of the underlying thing behind it. But, that's just logic from my point of view, is that if they can start powering militarized weapons and auto targeting and all this stuff with huge AI, you can do so much more. And as soon as you have data centers in the cloud, you can power and you can throw some quantum on top of that. It's a complete game changer. So I think, he's thinking along those lines versus anything else.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, and I'm excited for the IPO for sure, for SpaceX IPO, and we'll see how this. Well, we won't know how this affects it because it'll already be merged before they file their IPO. But this will be interesting.
Yeah, and the fact that these data centers can run 24/7 on solar power without taking up land on Earth and, taking up power and resources, that's cool. So, I mean, I like the concept versus what other people are doing. So, with unlimited solar power in space, AI models could get faster, much smarter than they could on Earth because we don't have the same power limitations that we down here. So, deals happening now. We'll have to see if it passes regulatory, if anybody steps in on this.
I doubt it because he's aligned with some pretty powerful people.
Well, he is aligned politically, but let's face it, if this is military specific and whatnot, he'll either have people pulling for him from the military or pulling against them. And there's a lot of money being spent on military contracts. So we'll have to wait and see. I just say that I don't think, Rathon or many of the other people are going to just take this sitting down is all I'm saying. Like,
yeah, true. Yeah.
He's not the only one in this game. Critics worry about centralization that puts the world's biggest rocket company, a massive internet provider, and a leading AI lab under total control of one person. But I'm not sure that is all that big of an issue, but because, eventually it won't be.
Yeah.
Like, great. But I don't think Elon will be in total control of these things in 10 years, because if you've got 100 data centers in space and you got this, it's impossible. So we'll have to see, but maybe he's building the AI that can run all this for him, and but at some point you have to divest yourself from every functioning company, because if you're the only thing that makes it work, then, it's going to go away at some point. So if this helps the energy crisis, if it, looks like it's going to help the investors, scaling to make a sentient sun to understand the universe and extend the light of consciousness to the stars is what Musk put in an eternal memo. By moving the AI power consumption problem to space, Musk might just solve the problem, the biggest bottleneck in tech history. If rockets don't melt the servers first, is this a genius move that saves the energy grid or a $1 trillion sci-fi fantasy? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments, and we'll keep watching the skies. What do you got going on, John? This is stuff that's going out in the next week or so.
Yeah, so we've got some events at the Toronto Business Development Center. I'm doing some lunch and learns in person there. It's a great organization, great incubator. And then February, what date is the Startup Drinks, Craig?
I closed that, so I'm not sure. February 19th, I believe.
February 19th, but have a look at startupdrinks.com. startupdrinksto.com for that event and other events. If you need some help with government funding, SHRED, or any other grants, reach out to me on LinkedIn. But if you're interested in AI automation workflows or you need help with your business, what can they do, Craig?
Well, we've got lots of stuff going on over at flowgrammar.ca where we help businesses implement AI and business automation so they can scale faster and more reliable, get more leads, grow faster. We also have a growing community over at flowgrammars.ca where we do Flow Grammar Cafe, we do live build events, we do demo events, we get the community together online and in person several times a month to show and demo and support anybody who's trying to do this, learn automation, end-to-end AI agent building. So check all that out. We have a series of events called Flow Grammar Cafe. The next one's February 6th, March 6th, and April 2nd. We do those right now in partnership with Workhouse, and those are full day drop-in headphones, laptop, and work. And we'll have some experts on site that can help you troubleshoot. And we all kind of do a little walkthrough in the afternoon about what you're working on and, show us what you're working on and stuff. And it's really cool. So check all that out over at flowgrammar.ca and flowgrammars.ca. And coming soon, and you can sign up for this now, flowgramming.space. An AI agent and workflow marketplace where people can buy and sell agents or workflows. So if you're building agents and don't know what to do with them, where to sell them, go over there and check that out. Again, flowgramming.space. Or if you're building workflows, or if you want agents or workflows built, you can go over there and buy them. We have some interesting guarantees, and it's coming soon, so you can get your name on the waiting list right now. That's all we got going on, John. For everything else, go to torontostarts.com. I don't even think I mentioned it that whole time. Thanks, everyone, for watching. All the information about CES, and these interesting things. Any last words, John?
No. Check out our next episode. We're going to be talking about the weird stuff at CES. So,
all right, everyone. Thanks for watching.